Greetings, everyone. I go by Spiderbite, and I'm a member of the Anonymous Collective. Before I dive into my story, let me clear something up. Anonymous isn't a group. It's not a club, gang, or organization. There are no leaders, no chains of command. It's a decentralized idea, a banner anyone can fly under if they believe in the cause. Hacktivism, resistance, digital rebellion. Some show up with code, others with leaks, others with pure will. If you have the mindset and the mission, you are anonymous. No face, no fame, just action. Anyone can be anonymous. A grocery store worker, a nurse, a student, an IT admin, a single parent. You don't need to be a hacker. You don't need to be a coder. You just need a reason, a cause, a line that was crossed. You wear the mask when the world stops listening. You speak through your actions. And the beauty of it? No one can stop you. Because Anonymous isn't something you join. It's something you become. Alongside Anonymous, other crews emerged. Some chaotic, some calculated, but all part of the movement. LulzSec, for example, was one of the loudest, wildest, and most iconic hacker collectives of our time. Weren't just hackers, they were entertainers, jokers, saboteurs. They hacked Sony Pictures, Fox.com, PBS, CIA.gov, and even InfraGard, exposing poor security across both private and public institutions. They released databases, emails, login credentials, but always with a flair for humor and mockery. They reminded the world that cybersecurity wasn't just broken, it was laughably broken. LulzSec's roster included some names that still echo in hacker history. Sabu, the de facto leader who later became a cooperating FBI informant. Topiary, known for writing their tweets and pastes. Kayla, the social engineer and dev who played a major role in infrastructure and access. And T-Flow, the quiet coder. Each brought their own strengths, and for 50 days straight, they turned the internet upside down. Love them or hate them, they left a mark that still hasn't faded. Then AV Unit, someone that went unknown and stayed quiet for years. Then you had Team Poison. They blended politics and raw power, targeting NATO, the United Nations, and UK law enforcement. They recorded voice messages over hacked police phone lines. They were aggressive, intentional, and unapologetically anti-authority. Members like Trick and MLT were known for combining social engineering with technical precision. UG Nazi went after major websites, leaked data, and defaced high-profile pages. Web stressors and booter crews turned DDoS into an everyday weapon. Anyone could rent a stressor and knock a target offline. This democratized chaos, for better or worse. Blizzard Squad hit the mainstream by bringing down Xbox Live and PlayStation Network on Christmas. They didn't just attack infrastructure. They made statements about control, attention, and digital fragility. And you can't forget groups like Null Crew and Ghost Shell, who constantly pushed data leaks, defacements, and anti-corporate messaging into the public eye. Antisec was another banner, under which many hackers collaborated, leaking police data and corporate secrets. These weren't just names. They were movements, ideas, fragments of rebellion scattered across networks and forums. UG Nazi, for example, had members like Josh the God, known for his brash online persona, and a long list of high-profile website defacements and leaks. Alongside him were Cosmo and Forsaken and others, involved in targeting government agencies and major corporations with brute force and flair. They pushed anti-government, anti-corporate messaging, and were known for direct action. Lizard Squad was a more chaotic force. Members like Virtual Rapists, also known as Ryan and Julius, aka Zekil, and others we won't speak about, came into the spotlight after the infamous 2014 Christmas attacks that brought down Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. Their tactics weren't just about DDoS, they were about attention, headlines, and psychological warfare. Null Crew also made waves with multiple breaches and leaks from universities, corporations, and government servers. Members like Null and BlapBlap were active in dropping database dumps on Pastebin with political messages. Ghost Shell released massive data leaks from financial institutions and law enforcement, targeting inequality and surveillance. Antisec, tied to both Anonymous and LulzSec at times, included names like Jeremy Hammond and Archaeos, who was behind one of the largest law enforcement leaks in US history when he hacked Stratfor. Each group brought their own fire. Some were loud and proud, some were ghosts. But every one of them, whether you respected their tactics or not, challenged the idea that power online was one-sided. We all held the line in different ways. We didn't all work together, but we watched each other, learned from each other, pushed each other. Some of us fought for justice, some for the chaos. Some just wanted to expose the truth no matter the cost. My story with the movement began back in 2009. At first, I was just a shadow. I spent my days and nights lurking in IRC channels, flipping through old forum threads, digging into anything I could find about hacking, exploitation, cyber warfare. IRC, for those who weren't there, was the backbone of the underground. It wasn't just a chat service. It was where operations were planned, where tools were born, where revolutions brewed. I bounced between hack forums, dark web marketplaces, and a notorious place called The Hub. That's where I learned the language of the underground. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't read it in books. I absorbed it straight from the raw source. Vulnerabilities, FUD cryptors, custom rats, botnets like a Qbot or a Mirai, logs such as CCS, SSNs, and much more. This was the deep end, and I dove in. Eventually I connected with other hackers. Some wore the mask, some didn't. Some just wanted chaos. Others wanted justice. But we all shared one thing: we were done watching. We were ready to act. I wasn't just learning anymore. I was building, writing code, testing payloads, breaking systems. I started writing malware as a teenager. My obsession was control. My go-to weapon, rats, remote access Trojans. I worked with Dark Comet, NJRAT, and later Orcus Administrator. If you know, you know. I wrote custom variants, encrypted payloads, built my own cryptors to keep them fully undetectable. When VirusTotal came back 036th, I knew I'd nailed it. With those tools, I could silently access machines across the world. Files, webcams, keylogs, passwords, all mine. And when it was time to go loud, we went loud. Loic was the classic, easy to deploy. Hoyts came next, stronger. But I preferred a regular botnet. Slowlorus and Rudy were my favorite DDoS tools, low bandwidth, high impact. Kill a server without lifting a finger. I helped organize and execute attacks that brought down police departments, corporate propaganda, government portals. It wasn't just about disruption, it was about visibility. It was the digital equivalent of marching in the streets. From 2011 to 2025, I've taken part in over 30 major anonymous operations. Some were global, some were local, some made headlines, others stayed in the shadows. Here's what that looked like. In 2011, during the Arab Spring, we launched Operation Tunisia and Operation Egypt. The regimes had shut down internet access, trying to choke off communication and silence protesters. We responded by launching coordinated DDoS attacks against government websites, spreading VPN guides, and creating mirrors of blocked news sources. It wasn't just an attack, it was digital air support for a revolution. In Operation Malaysia, Operation India, we went after censorship regimes, using mass email bombing, DDoS, and defacement. Operation Orlando hit hard and fast. The city criminalized helping the homeless. So we targeted city websites, police servers, and local government with custom Python-based flood tools. Operation Syria required real stealth. Assad's propaganda outlets were running on outdated CMS platforms. We exploited file inclusion and admin panel misconfigs, dropped reverse shells, and pivoted through vulnerable hosts to access internal comms. Operation Darknet changed everything. We infiltrated child exploitation forums like Lolatacity, exposed user lists, leaked credentials, and scrubbed their databases. In 2012, Operation India reignited with more brute force attacks and spear phishing against telecom operators. Operation Quebec was about digital civil disobedience. We disrupted government servers that pushed anti-protest laws and dumped internal documents proving collusion. Operation Japan focused on copyright overreach. We used DDoS to knock out government and content lobby websites, while our researchers leaked communication logs between lawmakers and media execs. Operation USA was heavy. Massive packet floods, targeted vulnerabilities in unpatched government software, and weeks of persistence. We mapped attack surfaces, planted custom traffic amplifiers, and exposed how fragile their infrastructure really was. 2013 was all about surveillance. Operation NSA came after Snowden pulled the curtain back. We hit data brokers and cloud providers working with the feds. We also exposed emails between contractors detailing facial recognition projects. During Operation Egypt 2, we released proof of police infiltration into activist groups, compromised through a phishing campaign that tricked an internal IT admin into handing over credentials. 2014 was a turning point. Operation Ferguson happened after the murder of Michael Brown. We dumped police officer names, defaced police union websites, and used leaked evidence to support civil lawsuits. Operation Hong Kong became a long-term effort. We created a toolkit that allowed protesters to reroute DNS, circumvent censorship, and use encrypted chat apps without detection. I helped deploy it across university networks. In 2015, Operation KKK meant full exposure. We infiltrated private IRC channels, scraped logs, and leaked full member lists. Operation ISIS was a more tactical war. We broke into web servers hosting recruitment content, deleted archives, and launched automated reporting systems to mass flag their social media posts. 2016 brought Operation Flint, a deeply personal op for many of us. We targeted city government, extracted internal meeting notes, falsified water quality reports, and emails that proved officials knew the dangers. We released the data through multiple mirrors. Between 2017 and 2019, Operation Sudan was about protecting voices. We created secure communication channels for activists, used web scraping to archive deleted protest footage, and rerouted internet through mesh VPNs. In 2020, Operation George Floyd lit a fire. We took down dozens of police department sites, redirected traffic to live streams of protests, and leaked use of force policies. Blue Leaks was a bombshell. 270 gigabytes of law enforcement data showing years of surveillance and profiling. We didn't leak it, but we hosted it. We spread it. 2021 brought Operation Myanmar. We dismantled military communication relays, hijacked DNS records, and spoofed internal emails. In Belarus, we broke into surveillance centers and disabled facial recognition nodes temporarily. 2022 was our full assault. Operation Russia took down critical government and media portals. I led DNS hijacks, defaced propaganda sites, and breached energy ministry email servers. In Operation Iran, we brought down ministry infrastructure, exposed VPN logs used to track protesters, and posted evidence of human rights abuse. Operation GOP was aimed at American disinformation. We shut down far-right outlets, leaked internal comms, and took down several backup servers to keep them silent. From 2023 to 2025, we kept the momentum. Operation Iran grew stronger, taking down layered infrastructure and mobile surveillance apps. Operation GOP escalated with deeper penetration into cloud providers. I helped dismantle platforms tied to Mao, Seth Dillon, and others. Operation Moms for Liberty saw us leaking meeting notes and donor ledgers. Operation Alex Jones was surgical. We hit back-end APIs, exposed caching vulnerabilities, and collapsed InfoWars for days. Operation Israel targeted key web services during Palestine attacks. Operation Russia's second wave was brutal. Targeted ransomware, recursive DNS loops, and supply chain tampering. Operation Georgia was mine. I took down every ministry website, replaced it with a statement, and held it there. Operation Venezuela used compromised RDP to expose high-level government theft. Outside of all that, I've done my part in cleaning up the dark web. I helped bring down freedom hosting. I exposed multiple child abuse forums. I've spent nights digging through logs, tracking servers, hunting monsters. People like to say DDoS is pointless, but they don't understand. It's not about the bandwidth. It's about sending a message. It's about showing the people who feel invincible that they're not. But I've also made mistakes. I swatted people who didn't deserve it. I doxed out of spite. I sold IDs and fulls like it was nothing. I was angry, bitter, broken, and I let that version of me burn everything around me. And the truth is, it got darker. I didn't just sell IDs to spammers. I knew who some of those buyers were. I knew they were connected to hitmen or people pretending to be. I traced locations. I pulled phone records. I scraped SSNs and built full profiles. Sometimes I handed that data off and never asked what happened next. I told myself it wasn't my business, that I was just selling data, but deep down, I knew better. I also played games with other hackers, social engineering contests, trying to get each other's info, watching as crews doxed each other, swatted each other, destroyed each other's lives just for ego or revenge. It was a digital gladiator arena. I saw hackers dox families, send threats, pull up outside each other's homes. I saw what happens when power gets too easy to access and too hard to control. It was a rush, but it was also rot. And eventually, I had to step back and ask myself what I was really fighting for. But the movement gave me something back, purpose. Anonymous, let me be free. Free of judgment, free of image, free to fight for something that mattered. Some call us criminals. Others call us vigilantes. Me, I don't need a title. I don't need the fame. But I want to keep pushing the movement forward for what it really is, for what it means to people like me who lived it, breathed it, and bled for it. It wasn't just chaos. It wasn't just trolling. It was resistance, identity, and rebellion. People saw it as bullshit because they never understood the code behind it, the purpose behind the mask. I want to show them that Anonymous was never just noise. It was a voice for those who had none,